All right, my friends, we're back. So I did a little short when I was on the ice the other night about how a Jew's physicality is actually spiritual. Now I say a Jew specifically because this is not how it works with the Goyim. Now let me explain why I want to go into detail, because this will help you understand a lot moving forward. So our physical bodies and everything that exists in this world exist because the way that Hashem created them, and I kind of talked about this in the creation video, is that everything from the top down comes down as spiritual. At a certain point, there had to be a cutoff, right? After these four spiritual worlds of Atzilus, Bria, Yetzira, and Asiya, where this divine energy flows down from Hashem's essence when he decided to create everything, there had to be a cutoff point where spiritual matter becomes physical matter, or at least is revealed to us in a physical way, where created beings can exist and feel like separate entities, and they can also recognize that other things exist besides for themselves, and including themselves. So at this cutoff point, which is at the last level of the lowest world, which is Malchus, sovereignty, kingdom, of Asiya, the lowest of the spiritual worlds. At that point, there has to be a cutoff, right? So that cutoff is when spirituality ends, so to speak, and physical existence or physical matter begins to exist. So the way that Hashem created everything physical is that he had to hide himself in this world. So he used something called klipas. A klipa is like a rind. So for example, in Hebrew, you'd say that like an orange, a tapuz has a klipa, has an outer shell or a rind. What are these klipas? They're essentially outer coverings that conceal, just like an orange peel conceals the orange, the fruit itself, they conceal the godliness that's behind something. So Hashem used four klipas, four of these rinds, to create everything that exists physically. And so three of them are completely impure. Everything evil that comes into the world, or impure, meaning think like just practically, right? Like a pig. There's no way to chef the pig and make it kosher. Hashem just said straight up in the Torah, this is not kosher. So no amount of brachas you can say on it can make it kosher or anything like that. A pig is made, its physicality is made by one of the three unclean rinds or klipas. So imagine there's a peel, a shell that surrounds this fruit, and everything inside of it is fully impure. I don't mean evil in a bad way, I just mean that it can't be used for any positivity. You just have to sort of stay away from it. So these klipas give sustenance or life to everything that goes on in this world, because like we said before, there's a master switch, right? And the master switch is Hashem's energy or light that exists in a way that allows all the other switches in the house to get turned on. So the source of electricity is the master switch, and that has to exist in all created beings, because without that, everything shuts off. So the master switch is Hashem's infinite light that gives existence to everything, and it's in there in the klipas, or else the physical objects or the spiritual object can't exist. But Hashem gives those things sustenance, not in a pleasant way, but more like in an over-the-shoulder kind of way. So imagine someone comes to you to get tzedakah, and you're like, nah, I don't really want to give this guy money, but just like get the hell away from me. So you take the tzedakah, and he's outside your door, and you just chuck it, right? And you're like, I'm done with you, get the hell out of here. You still gave him something, but you really didn't want to. So those are the three unclean klipas, and that's how they work, right? They sustain everything here that has no positive Jewish value. There's a fourth klipa, however, and that klipa is called Kelipat Nogah, the rind of Nogah. Now, this fourth klipa is almost as unclean and impure as the other three. However, there's a very small potential hidden in there of positive energy. And everything that's kosher or permissible in this world derives its sustenance from this klipa of Nogah. And so the physicality of a Jew's body, is created by and sustained by this klipa of Nogah. Now, this klipa of Nogah is... Shut the hell up, Google. All right. This klipa of Nogah literally gives us life and is, for the most part, pretty damn dirty. But the part of it that has potential can be uncovered and revealed. So imagine that it's this rind or this outer shell that is, majority of it is gross, but when you uncover it or unpeel it, you can find in there that there's some good. And if you can extract the good out of it, then you've done your job. Now, this might be a little bit controversial, but the unclean klipas are what give life to everything that's not permissible and to the bodies of the goyim. The one clean klipa, which is not fully clean but is majority dirty but has a little bit of potential, Kelipat Nogah, is what gives life to the body of a Jew. And that's why I'm trying to tell you, and why I said that in the hockey video, that even a Jew's physicality has potential to be spiritually good. And practically, what does that mean? It means that everything permissible that can be used in either direction, right? So, for example, a cow. If you electrocute the cow and you eat it, it's not kosher. And so even though the cow was made from Kelipat Nogah, and that's what gives, that's the spiritual master switch that's on in the background, the cow is not kosher. So you literally could have extracted the good out of it, but you didn't. Whereas if you give the cow a proper slaughtering and it goes through shchita, now that cow was used for good, meaning you uncovered the gross rind around it, around its spiritual energy, and you extracted the sparks of holiness or purity that were embedded in there. And so these klipas are very important and are a common theme, which I'll talk about. But basically, something to understand is that the Jew is built with potential to go either way, because we have free will. We can either choose to take advantage of the unclean klipas where there's nothing good that can come of them, like I mentioned before with a pig. There's no way to have, to have sex with your sister-in-law and call that pure and holy. It's simply impure. It's not allowed. But if you have relations with your wife in a proper way, where she goes to the mikvah and she's permissible to you, and you follow the nice conduct of order, whatever that may be for all of you, calling out some of you specifically more than others, then that is a pure way to take advantage of something that could have gone either way and make it kosher. And so, for example, you could take hockey and say, all right, I'm going to play hockey because I just want to go and check people in the boards, and it takes me away from having to be with my wife and kids. Or you could say, you know what, I'm going to play hockey when my wife and kids are sleeping because it re-energizes me to be a human being and go about my day the next day and go to Minyan and learn and do whatever else I'm going to do, right? Or I'm going to go get a manicure right now because I just need to chill away from my kids because that allows me to be a better mom and a better whatever. And so those things are not impermissible things. You're using them to actually rejuvenate you so that you could go about and be a good person and a good Jew and a good wife and a good father and whatever else you're going to be, right? And so those things all stem from this klipa of Nogah, and taking advantage of that allows you to live a life where you're physically indulging in the things that you love, right? And the yeshivish world will tell you that those things are a waste of time and bittul Torah or whatever else they're going to be. And I call bullshit on that, because the reality is that if you utilize those things for good, right? Like let's say you make $100 and you spend it, you could have taken advantage of 10 of those dollars or 20 of those dollars and used them for tzedakah. Instead, you missed an opportunity. And I think Kelipat Nogah is all about opportunity. It's about, do you take the things that are permissible to you and do good things with them? Do you utilize each opportunity, or do you just do a bunch of stuff that is really selfish and doesn't help you? And I think a Jew's life in this world really should be centered around Kelipat Nogah. As far as, what do you do with your time, right? How do you take the things that are permissible for you and actually make them holy? Instead of saying, okay, I live this life where, Shabbos morning I'm at shul, Yom Kippur I daven, and the rest of the time I'm doing something else, right? That's meaningless. Like your time with your spouse watching Netflix at night is part of your relationship, and that could be very good for you. Whereas if you just, don't come home from work so that you can watch Netflix at work, then that's really not doing the right thing, and that's not taking advantage. That's not using something that, if it's appropriate, is could be beneficial towards you in a Jewish way. Instead, you're wasting it. So I think Kelipat Nogah is all about opportunity and taking advantage of those opportunities. We'll talk more about this later, but this is a crucial aspect of my Judaism, and I think should be a part of yours as well. Peace out.